F-22 Raptor, the Lockheed Martin. F-22 Raptor is a single-seat, twin-engine, fifth-generation, supersonic, super-maneuverable fighter aircraft that uses stealth technology. It was designed primarily as an air superiority fighter, but has additional capabilities that include ground attack, electronic warfare, and signals intelligence roles. Lockheed Martin Aeronautics is the prime contractor and is responsible for the majority of the airframe, weapons systems, and final assembly of the F-22. Program partner Boeing Defense, Space and Security provides the wings, aft fuselage, avionics integration, and training systems. The aircraft was variously designated F-22 and F/A-22 prior to formally entering service in December 2005 as the F-22A. Despite a protracted development, the United States Air Force considers the F-22 a critical component of their tactical air power and claims that the aircraft is unmatched by any known or projected fighter. Lockheed Martin claims that the Raptor's combination of stealth, speed, agility, precision, and situational awareness, combined with air-to-air and air-to-ground combat capabilities, makes it the best overall fighter in the world today. Air Chief Marshal Angus Houston, former chief of the Australian Defence Force, said in 2004 that the F-22 will be the most outstanding fighter plane ever built. The maneuverability of an F-22 Raptor is demonstrated during the 2010 Aviation Nation Nellis Open House November 12. The Open House is an opportunity for the Las Vegas community to view aerial demonstrations and static displays of various aircraft from the military. 2 F-35 Lightning II. The Lockheed Martin F-35. Lightning II is a family of single-seat, single-engine, fifth-generation, multi-role fighters under development to perform ground attack, reconnaissance, and air defense missions with stealth capability. The F-35 has three main models. The F-35A is a conventional takeoff and landing variant. The F-35B is a short takeoff and vertical landing variant, and the F-35C is a carrier-based variant. The F-35 is descended from the X-35, the product of the Joint Strike Fighter JSF program. It is being designed and built by an aerospace industry team led by Lockheed Martin. Other major F-35 industry partners include Northrop Grumman, Pratt & Whitney, and BAE Systems. The F-35 took its first flight on 15 December 2006. The United States plans to buy 2,443 aircraft. The F-35 variants are intended to provide the bulk of its manned tactical air power for the U.S. Air Force, Marine Corps, and Navy over the coming decades. Deliveries of the F-35 for the U.S. military are to be completed in 2037. The U.S. Navy variant of the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter, the F-35C, conducts a test flight over the Chesapeake Bay. Lieutenant Commander Eric Magic Buse flew the F-35C for 2 hours, checking instruments that will measure structural loads on the airframe during flight maneuvers. The F-35C is distinct from the F-35A and F-35B variants with larger wing surfaces and reinforced landing gear for greater control when operating in the demanding carrier takeoff and landing environment. 3. F-15 Strike Eagle. The McDonnell Douglas, now Boeing, F-15E Strike Eagle is an American all-weather multi-role fighter derived from the McDonnell Douglas F-15 Eagle. The F-15E was designed in the 1980s for long-range, high-speed interdiction without relying on escort or electronic warfare aircraft. United States Air Force, USAF, F-15E Strike Eagles can be distinguished from other U.S. Eagle variants by darker camouflage and conformal fuel tanks mounted along the engine intakes. The Strike Eagle has been deployed for military operations in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Libya. During these operations, the F-15E has carried out deep strikes against high-value targets, combat air patrols, and providing close air support for coalition troops. It has also seen action in later conflicts and has been exported to several countries. An F-15E Strike Eagle deploys countermeasure flares November 12 over Afghanistan. The aircraft is assigned to the 391st Expeditionary Fighter Squadron at Bagram Airfield, Afghanistan. 4th F-16 Fighting Falcon. The General Dynamics, now Lockheed Martin, F-16 Fighting Falcon is a single-engine, multi-role fighter aircraft originally developed by General Dynamics for the United States Air Force, USAF. Designed as an air superiority day fighter, it evolved into a successful all-weather multi-role aircraft. Over 4,500 aircraft have been built since production was approved in 1976. A2, although no longer being purchased by the U.S. Air Force, improved versions are still being built for export customers. In 1993, General Dynamics sold its aircraft manufacturing business to the Lockheed Corporation, which in turn became part of Lockheed Martin after a 1995 merger with Martin Marietta. The Fighting Falcon is a fighter with numerous innovations, including a frameless bubble canopy for better visibility, side-mounted control stick to ease control while maneuvering, a seat reclined 30 degrees to reduce the effect of G-forces on the pilot, and the first use of a relaxed static stability / fly-by-wire flight control system helps to make it a nimble aircraft. The F-16 has an internal M61 Vulcan cannon and 11 locations for mounting weapons and other mission equipment. The F-16's official name is Fighting Falcon, but Viper is commonly used by its pilots due to a perceived resemblance to a viper snake, as well as the Battlestar Galactica Colonial Viper starfighter. In addition to active-duty U.S. Air Force Reserve Command, and Air National Guard units, the aircraft is also used by the USAF Aerial Demonstration Team, the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds, and as an adversary-wash aggressor aircraft by the United States Navy. The F-16 has also been procured to serve in the air forces of 25 other nations. F-16 Fighting Falcon aircraft prepare to refuel during Red Flag Alaska 13-3 over the Joint Pacific-Alaska Range Complex August 19, 2013. Red Flag Alaska is a series of Pacific Air Forces commander-directed field training exercises for U.S. and partner nation forces. PR 5. F-117 Nighthawk. The Lockheed F-117 Nighthawk is a single-seat, twin-engine stealth ground attack aircraft formerly operated by the United States Air Force, USAF. A product of Lockheed Skunk Works and a development of the Have Blue technology demonstrator, the F-117 was the first operational aircraft to be designed around stealth technology. The maiden flight for the type was conducted in 1981, and it achieved initial operating capability status in October 1983. 1. The F-117 was acknowledged and revealed to the world in November 1988. The F-117 was widely publicized for its role in the Persian Gulf War of 1991. It was commonly referred to as the stealth fighter, although it was a strictly ground attack aircraft. The F-117 also saw combat in Yugoslavia, during which the only aircraft of the type to be lost in combat was shot down by a surface-to-air SAM battery on 27 March 1999. The Air Force retired the F-117 on 22 April 2008, primarily because of the fielding of the F-22 Raptor and the impending introduction of the multi-role F-35 Lightning II. 64 F-117s were built, 59 of which were production versions with 5 demonstrators, prototypes. A U.S. Air Force F-117A Nighthawk stealth fighter aircraft from the 37th Tactical Fighter Wing refuels from a U.S. Air Force KC-10 extender aircraft from the 22nd Air Refueling Wing during Operation Desert Shield. The Nighthawk is en route to Saudi Arabia. 6. F-A-18 Hornet, the McDonnell Douglas, now Boeing. F-A-18 Hornet is a twin-engine supersonic all-weather carrier capable multi-role combat jet designed as both a fighter and attack aircraft. FA designation for fighter attack. Designed by McDonnell Douglas and Northrop, the FA-18 was derived from the latter's YF-17 in the 1970s for use by the United States Navy and Marine Corps. The Hornet is also used by the air forces of several other nations. The U.S. Navy's Flight Demonstration Squadron, the Blue Angels, has used the Hornet since 1986. The FA-18 has a top speed of Mach 1.8, 1,190 miles per hour, or 1,915 kilometers per hour at 40,000 feet, or 12,190 meters. It can carry a wide variety of bombs and missiles, including air-to-air and air-to-ground, supplemented by the 20mm M61 Vulcan cannon. It is powered by two General Electric F404 turbofan engines, which give the aircraft a high thrust-to-weight ratio. The FA-18 has excellent aerodynamic characteristics, primarily attributed to its leading-edge extensions, LEX. The fighter's primary missions are fighter escort, fleet air defense, suppression of enemy air defenses, SEAD, air interdiction, close air support, and aerial reconnaissance. Its versatility and reliability have proven it to be a valuable carrier asset, though it has been criticized for its lack of range and payload compared to its earlier contemporaries, such as the Grumman F-14 Tomcat in the fighter and strike fighter role, and the Grumman A-6 Intruder and LTV A-7 Corsair II in the attack role. The Hornet saw its first combat action in 1986 during Operation El Dorado Canyon and subsequently participated in 1991 Operation Desert Storm and 2003 Operation Iraqi Freedom. The FA-18 Hornet provided the baseline design for the Boeing F-15EX Super Hornet, a larger evolutionary redesign of the FA-18. A KC-135 Stratotanker from the Kansas Air National Guard's 119th Air Refueling Wing prepares to refuel Navy FA-18 Hornets over Wake Island during an escort mission from Japan to the 7. A 10 Thunderbolt Warthog, the Fairchild Republic. A 10 Thunderbolt II is an American twin-engine, straight-wing jet aircraft developed by Fairchild Republic in the early 1970s. The only United States Air Force aircraft designed solely for close air support of ground forces. The A-10 was built to attack tanks, armored vehicles, and other ground targets with limited air defenses. The A-10 was designed around the GAU-8 Avenger, a 30mm rotary cannon that is the airplane's primary armament and the heaviest such automatic cannon mounted on an aircraft. The A-10's airframe was designed for survivability, with measures such as 200 pounds, 540 kilograms of titanium armor for protection of the cockpit and aircraft systems that enables the aircraft to continue flying after taking significant damage. The A-10A single-seat variant was the only version built, though one A-10A was converted to the A-10B twin-seat version. In 2005, a program was begun to upgrade A-10A aircraft to the A-10C configuration. The A-10's official name comes from the Republic P-47 Thunderbolt of World War II, a fighter that was particularly effective at close air support. The A-10 is more commonly known by its nicknames Warthog or Hog. It also has a secondary mission, where it provides airborne forward air control, directing other aircraft in attacks on ground targets. Aircraft used primarily in this role are designated OA-10. With a variety of upgrades and wing replacements, the A-10's service life may be extended to 2028.376 Air Expeditionary Wing, AFCENT, Airman, Kyrgyz Republic, Kyrgyzstan, Staff Sergeant Robert Barnett, Transient, Transit Center at Manas, U.S. Air Force, United States. 8. A V-8B Harrier II, the McDonnell Douglas now Boeing, a V-8B Harrier II is a single-engine ground attack aircraft that constitutes the second generation of the Harrier jump jet family, capable of vertical or short takeoff and landing, VSTOL. The aircraft was designed in the late 1970s as an Anglo-American development of the British Hawker Siddeley Harrier, the first operational VSTOL aircraft. Named after a bird of prey, it is primarily employed on light attack or multi-role missions, ranging from close air support of ground troops to armed reconnaissance. The AV-8B is used by the United States Marine Corps, USMC, the Spanish Navy, and the Italian Navy. A variant of the AV-8B, the British Aerospace Harrier II, was developed for the British military, while another, the TAV-8B, is a dedicated two-seat trainer. The project that eventually led to the AV-8B's creation started in the early 1970s as a cooperative effort between the United States and United Kingdom, UK, aimed at addressing the operational inadequacies of the first-generation Harrier. Early efforts centered around a powerful revamped Rolls-Royce Pegasus engine to dramatically improve the capabilities of the Harrier. Due to budgetary constraints, the United Kingdom abandoned the project in 1975. Following the withdrawal of the UK, McDonnell Douglas extensively redesigned the earlier AV-8A Harrier to create the AV-8B. While retaining the general layout of its predecessor, the aircraft incorporates a new wing, an elevated cockpit, a redesigned fuselage, one extra hardpoint per wing, and other structural and aerodynamic refinements. The aircraft is powered by an upgraded version of the Pegasus, which gives the aircraft its VSTOL ability. The AV-8B made its maiden flight in November 1981 and entered service with the USMC in January 1985. Later upgrades added a night attack capability and radar, resulting in the AV-8BNA and AV-8B Harrier II Plus, respectively. 9. F-14 Tomcat. The Grumman F-14 Tomcat is a supersonic, twin-jet, two-seat, variable sweep wing fighter aircraft. The Tomcat was developed for the United States Navy's Naval Fighter Experimental (FFX) program following the collapse of the F-11-1B project. The F-14 was the first of the American Teen Series fighters, which were designed incorporating the experience of air combat against MiG fighters during the Vietnam War. The F-14 first flew in December 1970 and made its first deployment in 1974 with the U.S. Navy aboard USS Enterprise CVN-65, replacing the McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II. Now, the F-14 served as the U.S. Navy's primary maritime air superiority fighter fleet defense interceptor and tactical reconnaissance platform. In the 1990s, it added the low-altitude navigation and targeting infrared for Night LANTIRN pod system and began performing precision ground attack missions. The Tomcat was retired from the U.S. Navy's active fleet on 22 September 2006, having been supplanted by the Boeing F/A-18E and F Super Hornets. As of 2014, the F-14 was only in service with the Islamic Republic of Iran Air Force, having been exported to Iran in 1976, when the U.S. had amicable diplomatic relations with Iran. In this photo released by the U.S. Navy, an F-14D Tomcat from Fighter Squadron 3-1 performs a flyby past the Nimitz-class aircraft carrier, USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, CVN-69, in the Atlantic Ocean on June 19, 2006. For the past 30 years, the F-14 Tomcat has assured U.S. air superiority, playing a key role in ensuring victory and preserving peace around the world. The F-14 Tomcat will be removed from service and officially stricken from the inventory in September of 2006. 10 F-4 Phantom. The McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II is a tandem two-seat, twin-engine, all-weather, long-range supersonic jet interceptor fighter / fighter bomber originally developed for the United States Navy by McDonnell Aircraft. It first entered service in 1960 with the U.S. Navy. Proving highly adaptable, it was also adopted by the U.S. Marine Corps and the U.S. Air Force, and by the mid-1960s had become a major part of their respective air wings. The Phantom is a large fighter with a top speed of over Mach 2.2. It can carry over 18,000 pounds of weapons on 9 external hardpoints, including air-to-air missiles, air-to-ground missiles, and various bombs. The F-4, like other interceptors of its time, was designed without an internal cannon. Later models incorporated a M61 Vulcan rotary cannon. Beginning in 1959, it set 15 world records for in-flight performance, including an absolute speed record and an absolute altitude record. During the Vietnam War, the F-4 was used extensively. It served as the principal air superiority fighter for both the Navy and Air Force, and became important in the ground attack and reconnaissance roles late in the war. The Phantom has the distinction of being the last U.S. fighter flown to attain ace status in the 20th century. During the Vietnam War, the USAF had 1 pilot and 2 weapon systems officers, WSOs, and the U.S. Navy 1 pilot and 1 radar intercept officer, RIO, achieved 5 aerial kills against other enemy fighter aircraft and become aces in air-to-air combat. The FEF-4 continued to form a major part of U.S. military air power throughout the 1970s and 1980s, being gradually replaced by more modern aircraft such as the F-15 Eagle and F-16 in the U.S. Air Force, the Grumman F-14 Tomcat in the U.S. Navy, and the F/A-18 Hornet in the U.S. Navy and U.S. Marine Corps. The F-4 Phantom II remained in use by the U.S. in the reconnaissance and Wild Weasel, suppression of enemy air defenses, roles in the one.